Hey guys, sorry.
What?
Hey,
What did he say?
I said sorry. I was waiting on my Discord to update.
I was yawning.
I heard that.
278. 278. I'd like to lead with this food thing, but I think, Michael. Hello.
Hiya.
JJ, hello.
hello.
We have to finish up Evangelion 2.22 because we left without really discussing more than the insane plot of that film. Not insane in so much as like, oh my gosh, this was crazy, but insane as in, wow, there's a lot going on here.
It is very convoluted.
Yeah.
It was a lot in every sense of that word.
um. So I think it's much more clear to me personally. Last time when we watched this as a show, the iconography and the story did not seem to have a direction. This time it seems more clear and concise and directed. And I was wondering if you either of you knew about Gnosticism as a theology, the a theological theory. I guess it's like a scientific theology. It's kind of weird to say.
So I'm not sure about you, Michael, but I've definitely heard about it before, not like ever studied it deeply. But I certainly know that there are a lot of connections between it and the original show.
Yeah. So the main idea, it seems like to me, if I was going to boil it down into one go, is Gnosticism is like the spiritual spark or divine spark or God or whatever your religion calls it, right? So like Buddhism and all these that even don't have like God per se, those are within people in terms of their experience of the world, right? And that's their operating theology. And it seems to me this is it was very well, it was like connected to Christianity early on, and so it seems to be that this is maybe the operating theory of this show going forward. The movies seem to make it much more clear, but I didn't know if you guys had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm not too. Stuff I know is that definitely like people have found all these like Gnostic, I guess for is that a word? I guess it
I
is,
think
right?
so.
Gnostic, Gnostic.
Yeah, that those sorts of symbols uh, are all throughout Evangelion, just not the show originally and these movies as well. And I wasn't sure, because we're not all the way sure where the movies are going now anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I wasn't sure if it was just like it was there because it was expected to be there, or if they had like more intent and purpose with it this time compared with last time, where it felt kind of like, hey, we're doing some iconography stuff because iconography is cool, I guess. I don't know.
It definitely
Um,
seemed like the before was lightly adherent. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean that's just what I picked up when I was reading about, kind of like the symbolism this time around. I was like, this sounds familiar. I think that I've heard of this before, and I looked into it, and it was kind of like where we were headed seemed very similar. We didn't really talk about his music recorder this time around. I don't know if you guys noticed. Like last time, seemed very important, and this time it seems to be much more of a uh, symbol for his relationship with his dad, and that's about it. But I didn't know if you had paid any more attention to his music player this time, like last time.
I think I did notice it more watching through this one, and it kept making me wonder if they were trying to say something deeper through the continued showing of the music player and the timestamps on it. And I
Oh,
don't know that
that's
I
right.
came to anything about it, but
It seemed like he was always listening to one song on loop in this version versus the other version where he had multiple songs and stuff like that, and was the TV show version was much more like the angsty Shinji, and so I always thought he was listening to the Smiths, just sadly in his room. Uh,
So we
but this time
definitely
it was
see.
just a
Oh,
loop, right?
so we definitely see at least 2 tracks him listening to,
Okay.
and it might maybe there's a third one also, but certainly you remember in the show, right? There are scenes where he gets to the end of the track, and then he like loops it back to the beginning of the track, right? And then goes back to the track before that and like listens to those sort of 2 tracks sort of back and forth, it seemed.
Which
In
is
this
funny
one,
because it's a tape player, so.
right, like that's not really how those work. Uh, eh, but I got the impression this time that there were more tracks than in the show. I think the show had him going to like tracks like how many episodes were there of the show? Was it 26?
Hmm. That sounds high, but it might be right.
Okay, I don't know. And then how do you count the last ones because they're all
And the
weird
end of Evangelion and
right in the movie. So
right.
so the but the impression that I got this time was that there were additional tracks because you at
oh,
least
there were
see for
26.
sure.
There were 26 episodes.
Okay. And that
But
you
that
see
doesn't,
for sure
yeah.
at least 27 tracks on it this time.
Okay.
And like is that showing like oh, is this like a foreshadowing of like hey, we're going beyond the end or something like that, right? So if you think of
Ooh.
like the numbers that was kind of again this is me and my red string on the the whiteboard here, but is it going beyond the end? Is this the but then you also see him rewinding into tracks that would in theory have been the past, so it's not like the metaphor doesn't quite work, I guess is what I'm saying, but maybe it's also showing that they're showing both new and old things going on.
Okay. There's definitely more developed symbolism this time around, but um,
I mean, it must mean something, right? They spent enough money animating it that like
You hope so.
right.
yeah. Did you guys have any loose ends of stuff we didn't talk about last time, or should we just see if we have wild ideas of where this thing's going?
I think the tape player was kind of the last thing I had to talk about.
Okay. I thought my last thing was kind of that the Gnostic theory seemed to be very strong this time around with the reaching into Avas and the people being inside or going down into their Avas and all that sort of stuff. The soul idea seems to be much more interior than last time, maybe, or at least spoken about more clearly. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go read up on that stuff now that you have brought it to my attention.
all right, fine. Michael's just waiting for us to have a food fight anyway.
No, wait, we got to
Yeah,
talk about where we
we can
think it's
keep
going,
going.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We got to do predictions because we're all gonna be wrong. I feel so it doesn't matter.
Okay. I continue to think Shinji's dead. And he now has been stabbed through the heart with a giant spear. Oh man.
So you think it's like he is like the Ray clones, or he's gonna be
I
some
don't
sort of similar situation?
I don't know that there's any with the Shinji and everyone other than Rei need to clone them. is what I'm saying. The next movie, mark my words, will open with him staring at that ceiling again. I'm not saying he's being cloned. I'm saying maybe he's being reincarnated over and over.
Okay. I mean, at least in terms of how long those shots feel like they filled up half the movie. So I could see that as a good time-based bet.
It seems to start being important here. I don't know. Do you think he actually saved Rey? That's the question. Or is it all in their heads what was going on inside there before they started the third impact?
Gosh, yeah.
Ooh. I'm going to go with yes, he saved her.
Okay. I'm going to go with no. And only because he got hit with the spear.
Like he would have saved her if the spear hadn't come down at the end.
Well, I mean, everybody'd be dead, but so then it wouldn't have mattered, I guess.
But if she's not, hard to say. I was
Yeah.
gonna say if she's not linked to his Ava, would the spear hitting Unit 1 have hurt her in any way?
So, like, do you think maybe he pulled her into his Ava and that his Ava now is her instead of his mom?
Prior knowledge from the show, isn't she his mom also, kind of?
Oh, yeah, certainly, right.
Yeah.
There's that, too.
Which is, like, weird, considering their relationship seems to be headed a different direction in this.
Yeah.
You had to think about that one for a second, didn't you?
Didn't. I don't like it.
I don't know. My prediction is he's dead. She's dead. But maybe he gets reincarnated here. And maybe everyone finally abandons Tokyo 3. That would be good. I don't know. What are they going to do? It's kind of crazy how that ends. I don't feel like they rebuild everything and keep it the same. It's got to be something new going on. You wouldn't blow up the entire set of your show, right? And then rebuild it all.
I think them going outside of Tokyo 3 is my big prediction for this, because you're right. They like confidently blow the set up, and it doesn't feel like they're going to be hanging around there anymore. So I don't know what the plan is. Maybe they, move to some other double secret base somewhere else or whatever, or they go to the moon now, who knows? I don't know. But I think that we move the show somewhere else and there's other stuff going on.
What's your big moonshot there, Michael?
I'm trying to be careful about what I want to say, because I think I mentioned to you guys offline that there was one piece of information that I know
ran into
about
a spoiler.
Yeah, there's one piece of information that I know about the next movie, and it would answer a bunch of questions that you guys both just posed, and I don't want to spoil that for you.
Okay.
All right, so Michael's tainted information has disqualified him from making predictions.
You
perhaps
are disqualified. All right. Maybe we finally see one of the other like nerve headquarters or something. That would be cool.
Maybe we learn more about the Sele guys, because I feel like that's a thing that was never
gonna
really
have to be a thing. I mean,
that was never well explained in the first show, and I feel like there's more going on with them this time.
Yeah, knowing people's plans and like what the two sides are actually plotting behind each other's backs would be cool this time around, rather than just it sort of ending. Yeah. Okay. 3 point.
You know what? I will throw out one. I'm going to say that we see another pilot who we haven't seen yet.
Oh well, there's 4 more coffins to open. That's a good point.
If the coffins are pilots, but
we did the math on that, and it seemed likely. But
also it could
who knows, be anything.
Yeah. This show, at least in the past, has loved to pull things out of who knows where, man. So
okay, so a new pilot. That sounds cool. We know, well, we don't know, I guess, that Asuka survived. But we at least saw her, and they said they were going to try and treat her. So we could get her. It sounds like Mari survived
Yeah.
the fight. Who knows if she survived the aftermath of the fight? So we could have at least, and then we got what, Kawaru.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 pilots. Shinji and Rei may or may not be around. That's gonna be interesting because there's not enough Avas to go around anymore.
Right. Yeah, we blew a bunch of them up.
Lost at least 2. Yeah.
And even if they hadn't, Japan's only allowed 3 of them.
Apparently nobody wants them anymore. All right, so 3.33 will not be next week or this week. 3.33 will be October 11. Yes? What do we think of that?
That sounds doable.
Okay, so for people listening, that'll be October 13th. Oh, Wednesday the 13th.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Okay. It at least has the 3 in it. Food fight. So everybody's ready. People on their phones, go to cuberule.com. CUBERULE.com. Pause the podcast.
Read through it.
And in the grand tradition of the food crimes court that we have convened here in days past, you know, we are knowers and understanders of food and food culture, I think, which definitely gives us the right to opine on this. So,
Yes.
anyone who wants to, complain that we're going to talk about food stuff needs to go back and listen to the episodes of the Food Crimes Court.
Most podcasts that we've done. Yes. Jury is now in session. We might need an executioner for this one.
Oh man, okay. So everyone now hopefully has read it, right? We all understand the grand. At first, when Michael linked this to me, I thought this was like Time Cube or something. Y'all remember Time Cube?
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
Okay. It's like I was like, Cube Rule? Is this some kind of like updated Time Cube for the Zoomers or something? What is this? And like, no, no, it's not. But also, maybe it is. So what's the actual principle?
So it is supposed to be a grand unifying theory of what is and isn't, the ultimate evolution of the theory of what is and isn't a sandwich.
Right. So like is a hot dog a sandwich went around the internet forever. And this proposes that the problem with a sandwich and all these things is that you're not correctly identifying the location of your starches, and that if you do, then you can identify the food.
Right.
But not everything is a cube, is my initial take on this. And then, they try to deal with that later.
So the issue, right, and certainly Andrew already cut to the heart of the issue with this, right, is that the cube works well for box and box-like things. And when you start getting into spheres or rounded surfaces, you start having arguments about what constitutes a side.
And I also take issue that he has things in multiple places that should be together.
So I think the important thing about this, and the thing that like eventually led me to settle on I'm okay with this as a grand unifying theory, is that it holds true only until you touch it. And so as soon as you so like a pie, right?
Yeah.
The pie has crust on the sides and the bottom.
Sure.
And by this theory, it is a quiche.
Well, no, hold on. That's not true.
An open top pie, right?
Well, but not even an open top pie, because he's got pumpkin pie under toast.
But pumpkin pie, that's a slice of pumpkin pie.
Yes.
That is the important thing, right? So the full pie, untouched, is a quiche. But as soon as you take the slice out, the single slice becomes toast because
What
there's
does the
only starch on the one
unsliced
side.
piece become?
Yeah, so now that's a good question, and I was going to pose that to the team
So
because
the unsliced becomes this is an untopped one. See, a topped one is easy because then it becomes a quiche.
Right.
It's
So then
just
you
like
need
a
more
falafel
shapes
pita.
because then it's like a rhombus.
no, so it's kind of a taco
Oh God.
because you have broken the connection
Okay, we got
that
to start over
surrounds
for
the
people.
side, and you've removed.
So number one category is toast when you only have starch on the bottom. Starch on top and bottom is sandwich. Starch on 3 sides is taco. Starch on 4 sides is sushi for some reason.
It goes around, right? Like encompasses all sides, but
Yeah.
not the two ends.
Yeah.
Like
Although
so, like a rolled
I would
taco
have
is a sushi.
I would have gone with wrap because most wraps can be.
A wrap
Anyway.
is also a sushi.
It's right there, falafel wrap under
Yeah.
sushi.
I
Yep.
understand. I
A
would
rolled
have
taco
gone
is
with
a
wrap.
sushi.
I would have gone with wrap and then said sushis are wraps, and then everyone would be like, "Yeah, okay, I get that."
Pigs
Is
in a
what I'm saying.
blanket or sushi.
5 is quiches. 6 is calzones. So 5 is 5 sides, 6 sides on a cube. All filled in as a calzone, which
So
in
like
theory means it doesn't have to be actually 6 sides because he's got under calzones like
a corn dog and a
burritos,
burrito.
corn dogs for some reason.
See, here's where it made the point that to me that it came true. Right? He talks about like a pie whole or the uncrustable uneaten.
Uneaten.
Is
Yeah.
Yes.
because as soon as you bite it, you now have lost the all-encompassing calzone nature, and it either becomes perhaps a quiche or I don't know, sushi somehow. Maybe
Depending on if you take a bite out of opposite sides.
yeah.
Well, here's my first issue with this. One is that he's got hot dogs under tacos. But everybody knows if you don't buy the correct buns, a hot dog will split into 2 bread pieces.
So this was my point about not touching it.
we're right back to where we
And
started.
I want to be clear that my wife and I had a similar discussion exactly about this. And the uncut gyro or the unseparated sub sandwich is the same idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the bread, it's connected at one end. Currently, it is a taco. As soon as you have finished topping the hot dog and actually pick it up, it will almost inevitably become a sandwich at some point. But the idealized version of the hot dog is the taco. And then, once you've picked it up, the bread is separated and now it's a sandwich.
So in theory, all of these eventually become toast.
No.
Depending on how you eat them. But yeah, they change. The thing can change based on what it currently is, right? It isn't forever beholden to one form.
Also, he put in cake. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
Yes, I
and
did.
under the other examples.
Also soup or a salad, which is 0 sides.
So cake has is triple layered toast basically, which would mean a pile of flapjacks, but not one flapjack because that's toast.
Correct.
Yes.
What would you call those? A club sandwich, which has the bread in the middle. That's cake apparently.
Right, or like a Big Mac, or a multi-layered cake, but not a single layer cake.
Yeah, what is a single layered cake? Toast?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
How can you not have
using-
cake in the cake category?
So it depends, right? If you fill the cake, maybe you could argue those layers are separated now.
Well, and he does that under sandwich, Victoria sponge cake, which is just 2 layers of cake with filling in between.
Poutine is a salad.
And soup is also a salad.
That's a wet salad. Oh my god.
It's
I think that
I
it
I
is a
found it
unifying
hilarious.
theory in so much as he probably got a lot of backlash.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I
Look,
think I think my one issue with it is that there needs to be a 1.5 category that is a bottom and one side. Right? Because the slice of pie or slice of cheesecake becoming toast is a bit of a stretch, especially for something like a cheesecake where it is at a 90-degree angle.
I think it's actually less of a stretch to say that pie is a type of toast than.
I want to actually. I think the issue I have with it is similar to Michael's, but it's about the sushi configuration or the wrap configuration. Because what about the open-ended pie situation where you have three sides, but then one end or the other end, and not the top? Because like if it's like a taco, you have an end. Like if you had another covering on one side of that slice of pie, you would have the open-ended or the uneaten portion of the pie you took one slice out of, right? And that doesn't fit into any of these categories. Or a burrito. Oh no, I guess a burrito that you've taken one bite out of is a quiche.
Yeah.
But if you're a madman and you eat like the top of a burrito off somehow, what do you have now?
Oh, wet burrito, right? Like
Do
if you ate a wet burrito and you left half the tortilla in there.
Ooh, if you have a wet burrito though, does it become cake?
No.
No, those layers have to be separated. Never mind.
No, but you could
Right.
make it quiche.
You could make it quiche, right? Depending on how you
Yeah.
open it up.
Yeah, see,
So
this is I think that when we talked about is a hot dog a sandwich a long, long time ago, it came down to function over form for me, and I think this proves to me that it's function over form. Because an Uncrustable is not a burrito.
right. I mean, by this, an Uncrustable is a calzone.
And so's a burrito. And so's a corn dog.
Right. I want to posit something else that caused words in my family. And did y'all? I had never eaten an Uncrustable until last year.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
They weren't around when we were kids.
Right, and I made that point. But I was told that was weird to not know what an Uncrustable even was. Like I'd never heard of them until last year.
Have you ever eaten one straight out of the freezer?
Yeah, so I was told to do that, and I did it. And yeah, hey, it was pretty good. I don't know, like a little PB&J pocket thing.
It's a little
Okay.
snack.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not, not impugning the honor of an Uncrustable here. It was just like I had never heard of this, and it was brought up in conversation unrelated to anything related to this. And I was like, oh yeah, didn't know what that was. And
I am not and have never been a crust cut off person.
yeah, I ate all the crusts as well.
Michael's suspiciously quiet about crust.
Oh no, it's the same for me.
Okay. You had me worried there for a minute. we gotta come together in these trying sandwich times. Nigiri sushi is not toast.
So it comes down to what you feel about rice.
Yeah. I think it just wades into the sandwich debate with too much, This is a heavyweight argument in a lightweight fight.
Yeah,
Possibly.
rice is confusing in this because is the starch that they're talking about like because then like what is a bowl of rice?
There's at the very bottom.
You are free to
rice is-
interpret. What does it say?
Yeah, you are free to interpret the nature of rice however you wish.
Well, if I'm free to interpret it that it's a starch or not, I mean, like what? I like that
I
the
think it
vanilla
means rice
soy
by
latte,
itself.
vanilla soy latte, a 3-bean wet salad.
I love the idea. So by Andrew's potential definition, right? The thing with if rice is considered not a starch, then is nigiri sushi soup?
God. It's salad. No, because it has no
Sorry,
starch.
salad. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a salad.
It's
Yeah.
salad.
Yeah, salad. Oh, chocolate is a salad. Yeah. I see, but it brings up good points of like, what is a pig in a blanket, right? Or a corn dog.
Mm-hmm.
Are those a sandwich? If a hot dog's a sandwich, then the corn dog's a sandwich, maybe. It's
I
just
mean, both of
cornbread.
those are on here in examples.
Different categories, though.
Yep, corn dogs, calzone. Pig in a blanket is sushi.
It's fascinating. The amount of brain power it took to come up with this is high
The
or
really
very
impressive, the really impressive part about it is how like expandable and if you want to if you want to stretch your brain, you can really get it to conform to pretty much close to anything, right? Depending on what your definition of sides of a cube is.
low. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but what happens when you have like a pyramid shape? You know? Like, what is
What
an ice
happens
cream
with
cone?
food? Are you okay?
Right? Like, what's an ice cream
An
cone?
ice cream cone would be quiche
Why? It's one
because
piece.
it has a single open side.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know if I can live with that one.
But if I bite the bottom off the ice cream cone, it's sushi.
Yes.
And if I get a drumstick, it's a calzone.
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
still
A quiche.
a quiche because the topping in the drumstick is not starch. It's chocolate.
Jeez.
So it's still a top. It's still filling into.
Okay. Okay. I'm done with the cube theory.
yeah,
I'm,
it's
I'm taking a pause.
people should. I hope everyone took the time to read that website. It is
It
very funny.
is a very funny hoot, especially the history section.
Yeah, allowing you to say words like, a enchilada is sushi is just very good.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, we haven't talked about games in 2 weeks because oh no, that's not true. We did last week with me being disappointed in Warzone, so I won't go first this time. Oh, we should get a little game time in. Michael, what have you been up to?
So I have been playing through. Well, replaying might be a more apt description, but I noticed last week that an old favorite of mine that has been updated was on sale on Steam, so I bought it and I fired it up. I've been playing through Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning.
Oh man,
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember the original Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning,
I
but it
remember
was
the huge drama that encompassed that EA
yes,
game.
it wasn't EA.
It wasn't EA. No, it's
No,
Who?
I think it was
nope, no. So
published.
this was the part of the reason why this one was made all the news for its issues was because it was the only game the studio ever put out. It
Really?
was
No,
yes.
it was an EA game for sure.
No, this
I
was
think it was.
Kurt Schilling's studio.
Yeah, but that's EA is the publisher, Michael.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you are both right.
Okay. Okay. Great. Uh, I apologize. That was part of the craziness of this was that it was what was his name? Big Huge Games or something like that. I don't want to give
Yes.
credence to Kurt Schilling, but
Yes,
it was like
Big Huge
it was
Games
something
and
stupid like
38
that.
Studios.
Oh man. Um. Yeah, and then it was written by
R.A.
it was written,
Salvatore.
oh, there you go. It was written by somebody famous. Was what I was gonna say, and I know comic book artist worked on the art. I can't remember who that was
Yes.
either because I don't do research. Because I didn't know you were gonna say Kingdoms of Amalur. What a fascinating thing. Todd McFarlane, JJ.
Yes, that's
Oh,
right.
wow. Okay.
Did all the
Yeah,
artwork for the game.
big name.
Yeah.
What? So I remember I played the original version of this game
Okay.
on PC.
Yep. I
Yes,
think that
because
was
that
the
was
only
the only
place
way
you
you
could
could
play
play
it.
it. Yeah.
It came out on consoles.
Did it?
Pretty sure the PS3, 360 era. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I thought it was PC
But
only.
no, I don't think
Okay.
so.
No,
But
you're probably right.
the end. So how does the game play now? I'm very curious to hear.
It's the gameplay really holds up.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't because they remastered it um to bring it up to slightly more modern standards. It's never going to be cutting edge, but to make it look better on modern computers, they updated the graphics a little bit. But the combat doesn't suffer from it. The combat system was pretty smooth in the original, and this stays pretty faithful to that.
Hmm. I remember. I think my character used daggers. I want to say, and I just remember pressing one button a lot.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
there are like 10 or 12 weapon types, and you can have any two of them equipped at the same time.
Oh, interesting. So did you end up? I guess what kind of character did you end up making then?
So I tend to run with a mage staff and a bow.
I like it.
That's like
Uh,
double range.
yeah, the range is
He's
good,
like,
but
I don't want to get in there and fight. I want to be back here.
the staff still gives you some good melee attack.
Yeah.
There is also there's a scepter which basically looks like a katana, but it fires magic bolts. So that's your real range weapon.
Wow. Cool. Cool.
But it's good. I've been enjoying it so far. I've put in 5 or 6 hours. I forgot how much the very early game is kind of an inventory management sim
Ooh.
until you get to, a couple of hours in, you get to the point where you can stash equipment that you don't want to carry around with you.
Hmm.
And then it becomes much, much less constant juggling of your inventory.
Nice. I mean, so it sounds like the game never really suffered from all the insanity that was the uh Kurt Schilling Studios. I think they had two.
So I
Uh,
think the craziness around that is that all of that stuff happened after this game came out.
Yes, so the game came out, they released DLC for it, and then the studio basically took a nosedive. I think they had like investors who wound up backing out, and they didn't sell enough copies of the game to recoup the investment that the state of Rhode Island, I think, had made into them.
That
yeah,
sounds
State
right.
of Rhode Island got involved. Schilling says he lost his entire fortune. I remember that. People were like, "What? How is that even possible?" And then I remember the SEC got involved and like the Rhode Island ended up getting in trouble because they used a bunch of public money without like notifying people that held Rhode Island bonds.
The My memory of it, and again, it could be very wrong, but a lot of the craziness is that they were developing this other game based on the same world and the same sorts of properties and stuff. That
Yeah, it was
RA
supposed to be
RA
part of the
Yeah.
Salvatore,
same thing.
and it was supposed to be an MMO, like a
Oh,
WoW style MMO, and that never went anywhere and sucked tons of money out. And then this game came out because they were like, we need to do something with all this stuff. And then after the game came out, it was just like, dude, we don't have enough money to make this MMO.
how do you suck down $50 million and not come out with a game?
I mean,
That's what I want to know.
it's pay some executives too much money. I don't know how anything works, man.
I guess. I guess. So how'd this game come out? They didn't revitalize these companies. Is EA even involved in this?
So the studios I read up on this because I was asking the same question. The studios got bought by THQ Nordic.
Oh, the big buyer of everything now.
Yeah, you're talking Embracer Group.
Is that THQ Nordic also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then yes, Embracer Group owns basically everything small, right? They're trying to anyway.
Yeah. So they got bought up, and I guess someone there decided, hey, we want to touch up this game, put it back out, and they're actually working on new DLC for it too.
I'm not surprised. It got good reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember enjoying the game, feeling like the combat was a little kind of whatever at the time, but I remember being like, "Hey, this is cool." Like this there's like tons of quests. It was like really big for the world at the time. It felt that way anyway.
Yeah. I just feel like we're headed for another Vivendi now, where they own like too much
Hmm.
stuff. All their finances get entangled and in trouble. Ugh, I hope that doesn't happen. Please, please no, Embracer. That's cool, Michael.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things about it, which still holds true, but one of the reasons I liked it so much back then was that it was basically an MMO without the O part,
Yeah.
which is exactly what I wanted.
This is exactly what a lot of people want. That's why that Skyrim and that genre is so popular too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is it re-reckoned enough to hold your interest all the way through, or do you already know when you're gonna kind of bow out?
No, I'll probably see it through.
Wow,
I don't remember the story well enough to be like, oh yeah, this part and then this part. Um, Plus I'm interested to see what they come out with the new DLC.
cool. Right on. JJ, what did you get up to, man?
So I did get to the end of Yakuza 6 finally, but I'm not here to talk about that.
You're gonna talk about the detective version of the Yakuza games.
No, I wish though. Please put that out on PC so I can play it.
Are
Please,
they only on
please.
Judgment? Is that it?
Judgment. I believe it is only out currently on Stadia and
Ooh,
No,
console.
PlayStation, right? It's got to be on PlayStation.
It's on consoles,
Okay, but on
so
PC you can only get it on Stadia.
yeah. So please put that out on a platform I actually want to use, and I would consider playing that game.
Michael, it's
Very
all the
strongly.
Yakuza assets used in a detective story.
I like it.
Yeah,
And there's actually a sequel to that game that
it
is
just
out
came
now.
out. Yeah,
Also, yeah. No, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
The
Uh,
voice of the cards demo.
no, I didn't actually get to that either, though. I want to. I've
should we
heard.
keep going? We could keep guessing.
Yeah, yeah. You guys can keep guessing.
Magic Arena, new set.
That also, but I didn't. I assumed you guys didn't want to hear about that. No, what we're here to talk about is the most important news for the Nintendo Direct.
Oh, okay. What did you
And
think was the most important? With the
I,
Mario movie?
I mean, I guess also to talk about, I've been playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is a great game, but you guys don't want to hear about that because this news is way more important. Yeah, it's the Mario movie stuff.
Okay,
You guys, think, do you know about this, Andrew, already?
the Mario movie.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt is Mario.
Chris Pratt is Mario. First
Charlie
off,
Charlie Day is Luigi.
it's just
Jack Black is
actually good casting there.
Bowser.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
Keegan Michael Key is
Keegan's in it.
Toad.
Yeah. Who is he?
He's
Toad.
Toad.
Toad. Okay. I remember some of the faces from the like announcement. Seth
Anya,
Rogen was in it too. I don't remember who he's playing.
Donkey Kong.
And I saw a picture of Fred Armisen, I think too.
Yes. Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
great choice.
That's great. I didn't
Uh,
see who was playing Peach or if Daisy's in it. Daisy.
Anya Taylor-Joy is Princess Peach.
Okay.
She's the one from Queen's Gambit and
I haven't seen that yet. It's on my list.
that horror movie I didn't watch.
What's the horror movie you didn't watch?
I don't know the name of it.
Okay.
So I didn't watch it. How am I supposed to know?
Okay.
But rounding out the cast here, Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek, and I don't know, Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike.
Okay.
I think I don't know that I can picture Chris Pratt as Mario. I don't know that it's physically I'm physically capable of understanding that.
I was trying to think back to when I was watching the Lego movie, and Chris Pratt wasn't entirely Chris Pratt yet in that movie, I think. And like I kind of got lost in his voice being the guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But now when I'm picturing him playing an animated Mario, all I'm going to be able to hear is the Lego guy.
Yes, that was the thing I was gonna bring up. Is that like I think he's just gonna do the Lego guy voice.
Do you think Charlie Day is going to try and Italian his Luigi voice? That would be weird because Chris Pratt probably doesn't have a nice Italian accent practiced yet.
I mean, I don't want him to do that. I like I like I guess it should be saying like neither of those two are Italian. I'm pretty sure, right?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, that was a big drop at the end there.
Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad.
I'm into that.
There's already a video out there of someone doing the sketch of Keegan-Michael Key from the Key and Peele sketch show, where he's reading the names off in class. The where's
the
Aaron?
attendance skit.
Aaron, yeah.
Yeah, of that pitched up to sound like that really high shrill voice that Toad has. It's very funny.
Oh my gosh, I'm into that too. That's great.
I don't know that he will do that, but it is the idea that he would do that is very funny.
I'll put it this way. Looking at this cast, if people know what they've got and they make a movie directed at who they have, it's possible that it's good.
Yeah, I mean, the talent is definitely
The
there.
talent's there to make something enjoyable. It just may not be, it better not be some version of like trying to tell the normal Mario stories. It's got to be a comedy, obviously, based on who they hired.
Yeah, the directors are the directors who did Teen Titans Go and Teen Titans Go to the movies, I guess.
Oh,
I don't know.
Is this going to be a kids movie?
I mean, Mario is a kids game generally, so.
Yeah, but I would say the Lego movie is more of an adult movie than Teen Titans Go is.
I have no comment about that because I have not seen Teen Titans Go.
I mean, if you like Teen Titans, then you're gonna like Teen Titans Go. But it's like that Cartoon Network show, right? Which I kind of fell off of as I got older.
And it is the Minions studio.
Oh, okay.
So
3D animation.
I truly don't know what to think about this because and the way Nintendo rolls it out is like so Nintendo of just like announcing these people with like headshots and still photos of the actors. It's just like right off the bat, it's like Chris Pratt as Mario, and then it's just like, what are you doing? There were no pictures of the film, nothing like to get an idea about it or whatever. It's just like, yeah, Chris Pratt is Mario. We're announcing it here on the Nintendo Direct. And you're like, why? Why are we doing this?
I feel like that would have been in a previous year some sort of live announcement to really freak people out. You know, have it'd be a E3. 5 years ago, it would have been an E3 walkout kind of deal. And the whole
Yeah.
cast shows up and they all walk out and they're like, so we've got all these people here. FYI, they're going to be in the Mario movie. That would have been really funny. But you can't do that anymore. Okay. I reserve judgment. That cast is very good.
Yeah. So I don't know what to think. It is so hard for me to picture those people as those roles.
It's
Because again,
probably
like
a good thing.
the Mario movie, like the Mario games have no story much really to speak of, right?
Yeah.
Like Peach gets kidnapped by Bowser. Mario rescues her. That's the story.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see what they do with it.
Real quick before we wrap out for the day, because it's getting late, but I had my first experience on Game Pass of like, oh, that thing I wanted to try is leaving. It's not the first time that's happened, but it's the first time I really was kind of like under the gun to try and play something before it left. But it also ended up being an experience that was very good because it was one of those ones where I would have bought this thing and been kind of disappointed. So the Game Pass subscription model pays off a little bit. Dark Crystal Tactics, you guys.
Oh, okay.
That is a thing that happened.
It was a thing that happened a while ago. I was excited about it because I watched that new Netflix Dark Crystal series, and I deeply enjoyed it. And this is based on that. When they say it's based on that, they mean literally that you're going to replay the exact same story as the Netflix show on a tactics board.
Well, that's
Okay.
uninspired.
Not only is it uninspired, the combat arenas are uninspired. By like the fourth or fifth turn, all your characters are on top of each other and you're just sort of noodling away at each other. I don't want to speak too negatively, because if you really like that show, this game's probably for you. I liked that show, but not enough to replay the story through as a game. It's very light. Even as a tactics game on its own, it would be very light. There's not much in the way of like there's combos, like this character stuns that character, deals more damage when they're stunned. And there's like a huge host of abilities that you can actually level through. There's a job system. There's main and secondary jobs. There's abilities. There's equipment.
I love all of these things.
I do too. But it's all kind of almost like linear progression. So I got a new sword. Well, that sword's automatically going to be better than the last sword, and the sword only goes on this one guy that I use. I got a staff. Okay, well, the staff only goes on the one per,
Okay.
Feels a little bit too much on rails.
It's very, and I played about 4 hours. And so like, yeah, you might say, oh, I didn't get that far into it, but it's not a long game. If it's only the show, I was a third of the way through the show after 4 hours, so it can't be very long. There's no achievements on the Xbox version. There's a few achievements on Steam, but it's literally just like finish the mission, finish the mission, finish the mission. There's nothing else to achieve. So, and it's weird stuff because they give you a lot of tutorial, but there's stuff that they don't tutorialize until the enemies do it. Like if a enemy unit goes down, they can revive them by standing on them. You can't revive your own units, by the way. At least at that point that I was in the game. You probably can later on once you level up jobs. But you can't just revive them like they can, where they could just stand on them. So like until I stood on another unit and it died, and then the game was like, good thing you stood on that unit. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't even know I could go. You know what I mean? But yeah, the arenas were kind of small, but they had a lot. They didn't have a lot to work with, right? Like it's a puppet show. The sets are very
Right.
small in the show, so it's $20, so it wasn't crazy. If you bought it on sale for like $10 and you knew what you were getting, it might be cool. But I just thought it was like for somebody that loves tactics games and the RPG stuff that they sucked me in right away. I was like, oh yes, there's RPG stuff in this game.
It's like all the stuff you said sounded a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics, which is a game I love.
How big
deeply.
I can't remember how big the arenas were in Tactics.
I mean, it varies, but I would say they're pretty decently sized. Each unit occupying one square.
Yeah.
You get maybe some of the bigger maps are like maybe 20 by 30 or something.
Yeah, these were
Yeah,
smaller.
that sounds right.
These early in the game were smaller, obviously. They usually are in a tactics game, but like even multiple missions into it, I know how I'm playing the game. I'm kind of on the like open path now where I can kind of choose different places on the map I can go to fight. And there's still like by the middle of the fight, all of my units and all of his units are just standing in a line. And there's not really enough room to keep moving things around too much.
There's not like interesting terrain necessarily.
There is terrain. Some of the maps, especially once you get to like the desert area, are gonna have like a lot of higher ground and lower ground. But I don't know. It just was sort of uninteresting. It was
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a bummer because I think people probably really like that show. I mean, but within a few minutes of this, it was very clear that like shove is the only way to play this game. I don't know. So if people played it and they played much further than I did after a couple hours more, maybe the characters might be more interesting to play with, but the story was pretty boring because it's just the Netflix show. I talked too much about it, but it was interesting to have that experience. Speaking of Xbox, just real quick, I played Halo Infinite, you guys.
Burying the lead here, man.
Yeah.
There's not much to say. They didn't have us test very much. I got into the Halo flight. There will be more next weekend, I think. But they wanted people to check out the battle pass and weapon customizations, and then there was like a training mode also to try out. And it's a very pretty game. It feels a little sluggish. The menus take a long time to load, and a lot of stuff doesn't work. It's like you'd equip a skin and it just would not show up on the gun, no matter what I did. Yeah, but that's why
Menus feel like a thing that is always like at or very near the end, right before stuff comes out. So that I would have faith would get fixed, but the skins and stuff not working is I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I guess the game is coming out, right? But they're releasing the campaign separately later.
Yeah, multiplayer in
Yes.
December and then sometime after that for the game. Because they're gonna make the multiplayer free.
Right.
I think it'll be good. The training mode was very fun. There's a like a weapons training mode, JJ,
Okay.
where you just choose any gun in the game and then you go stand on a firing range and they pop up targets and you get points based on how quick you can down them. When you do your reloads is a point they give you points for. Like if you do a proper like, oh, in my head I know I've downed 2 people, I should reload this gun before I start shooting at the third, nets you points.
Interesting.
That kind of stuff. Headshots. You can see where you're hitting people now. They're their shields are reactive in different zones on their bodies. So like when I'm shooting you in the knees, your knee shields are lighting up, not your head.
That's cool. Doesn't
Yeah.
That's
help me
useful.
because I can't see my knees, but it is
No, no,
good.
no. But like if I'm shooting at another person, right, I can see them, and
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
shields are lighting up that way.
yeah. No, that's very cool.
Yeah, yeah. It was light. What they had to test was light, but it was very pretty. It looks really good, like better than anything in that MCC by a lot.
Well, as you would hope, right? Because there's a whole game that isn't out,
Yeah,
and then this after it
yeah,
in a number of years later. So
yeah, yeah.
I'm
But I
into it.
mean, after the loads, it ran really well on my system, which is a 1070. So
I'm excited to get in there and try it when it comes out.
yeah, I'll report back after vacation and let you know, because I'll probably have tried the next flight and see what they're offering. Until then, if people want to get in their thoughts on 3.33 or Halo Infinite, or tell me I'm wrong about Crystal Tactics,
They can send those to podcast@wewergamers.com. That's our email address. Folks know where it's at. We're also on social media at We Were Gamers, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those places. And please, follow our podcast on YouTube. Search for We Were Gamers, all one word, and you'll find us. Subscribe and hit that little bell on there. Helps us out a lot.
I believe I saw a new subspace transmission just went up.
oh yeah, that did.
Yeah, it did.
We talked about Star Trek Day and Lower Decks, the first 5 episodes. 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Regardless, Lower Decks continues to be good. So
Lower Decks is a very good TV show. Not just, it's a really good Star Trek show. Like, my spouse does not get 9/10 of the references, but enjoys every second of it. And if anyone's looking for a recommendation, there you have it.